Hi, today I wanted to go over more detailed information about our member database. So to start with, we're going to look at the configuration for it, and look at some of those options. So under the configuration menu on the admin menu, then under the other configuration options, we're going to go to this member database link. In here you're going to find general options, member data table options, admin profile edit page, member info page, and member profile edit tabs. Each of these tabs are going to have different options for these various things. So to begin with, in the general options, you have some hide options here. So hide business name field, position field, and website field all by member type, and you get to select what kind of member types it is you want this hidden for. As you can see here with our test site, there's some preset ones that are already in here, but on your own system, if you wanted to alter this or change it yourself, you can just click in here and then you can just select from this drop down list of member plans that you have created. For the member data table options, you can select how many days the new member highlight or member info change highlighting is in effect for. So one of these will add kind of like a yellowish beige color of a highlight to the text in the database for that record. The other will make it so the text is red. I'll show you that a little bit more when we get to the database itself. Show functions for members with database permission. So for this, it's more if you're giving members individual admin permissions for specific modules. Show quick add new member. So this is off right now, and honestly you don't really need to turn this on because it's just as fast to go in and manually add it in the member database, and I'll walk you through how to add a member when we get there as well. If you want to display alternate phone numbers for a member record, you can just click in this field here. You can do phone, secondary phone, fax, or cell phone. For the admin profile edit page, there's the member specific permissions you can enable. This will allow for you to set a member to be an admin for a specific module if you want. If you want to have the tabbed layout for the member record screens, you can check the box here and it'll show that. Profile change by member database special permission. So if you want to be notified anytime that a member makes a change to their member record, you can put an email address in here, and when any change is made, then this email will receive an email saying this person changed this within their member record. If you have board members and you want to include board positions that you can select for those records, you would do that here. So board position drop down list. This is just like a multi-entry text field. So each line would just be a different option. So here you'll see we have president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. And you can add your own here for your own system if you have other kinds of titles or anything like that. Member info page, if you want to make it so it's a 2-tab column, which will make it so that there's kind of more visible on the page depending on how you have things set up, you have that option here. And the member profile edit, member info change, notify email. So if member information does change, you can get an email, put it in here for it. Profile field character limit, if you want to restrict the number of characters that are allowed there, you can do that here as well. And each member record has a member number. If you want that to be displayed, you can just check this box here. With any of the options that you see here with this blue information icon, you can always just click on this and it will give you more detailed information as well. So at any time you can come back here and look at that. So next we'll get into the member database itself. So under members, we'll go member database. Then here you'll see we have a testing trial plan. This is just test data, so this isn't an actual email address or an actual person or anything like that. But here you see that kind of yellowish beige highlight that I had mentioned before, and the fact that the text is red, showing that in the last 60 days this record was both created and edited. So here you have different options of edit, delete, info, billing, and functions. So kind of similar to the just general overview video, if we look at the edit option, you can come in here and you can change whatever information for the member records that you want to. So you can keep your members' information up to date if they aren't doing it themselves, or if there's any kind of changes that they submit later on that you yourself want to make sure it gets corrected that hasn't been corrected already, you can do that. This is that member number piece. So this would be what would be displayed if you check that box at the end of the configuration screen. The admin permissions, so if you wanted to make it so this individual member becomes an admin for, let's say, the broadcast message module, you can do that here. You just check the box, then at the very bottom do save and exit, and it would update their permissions. If you wanted to remove permissions, it'd be the exact same thing. Just come in here, uncheck the box, save and exit. So now we'll go back to the screen here. Then we'll go through the process of adding a new member record. So in this case, it's going to be add new testing trial. This here will default to add and whatever comes here. So in this case, testing trial. This is going to be based off of which member plan it is that you already have selected here, if you have one selected already. So we'll do add new testing trial. Member number you can leave blank, that will auto-populate. Business name if you want to include that. Member information, website. So we'll say contact first name is Justa, last name is Test. If you want to include other information, you can. For the sake of information here, I'm just going to put some X's as a chain. That way there's no actual information here. That's county, not country. If you want to do specific regions, you can do that. Then if you want to use this first address for mailings, by default this is checked. However, there's also the work address section where you can select that to be the mailings address as well if you wanted. You can only have one of these selected, so just be mindful of that. I'm not going to worry about billing information here, phone, anything like that. Different categories, you can set the gender to be male, female, or unknown if they prefer not to say. Email and plan. So here you would just put their email, which they will need to have an email if you want to grant them a username to log into the system. So that is important to keep in mind. After you give them a username, then you can also send them a welcome email, which would have a temporary password. They just have to follow that link, log in using that temporary password with the username, and then they can change that password to something else, and then they're able to log in at any time. If you do sales things, then there's the prospect temperature section. So cold, lukewarm, warm, and hot. Status, member type, you can change this as an admin at any time. Membership add-ons if you have them. Those would show up here, the member security level, member or admin. In most cases, you're just going to have it as member. If you're putting in new staff or something and you want them to be able to submit tickets to our help desk system, or just be able to do any kind of the major administrative actions, then you would give them the admin role. You can adjust a join date if you want. There's the different listings here if you wanted to check these boxes, adding them to a prospect list, a newsletter, e-newsletter, email. If you want to make them a board member, you just say title, select board title, whichever one it is that you want, because this is that thing we were going over a bit earlier. Suppress renewal statement emails or renewal statement PDFs. Be careful with these suppression options because sometimes these can also prevent people from receiving other emails, like broadcast message emails, for example. If you suppress any kind of contact here, just be aware of what all is being suppressed. So all of that would just be how you go about creating one of these. So we'll just do save and exit. Skip payment for now. And now you'll see that we have that member record we just created in here. So with this also, there is the function section here. The contacts, this is more tied to the CRM section. You can record contacts, so a new contact was made with the person. You can select what kind of contact type it was, so let's say email, the details of the contact, so any kind of notes that you want to take about it. Alt person, if you emailed someone and someone else responded, or you called and talked to someone else, you can put that alt person in here. You can include the contact date. If you want to notify admins of this contact, you can do that, or you can also mark it as important. You can set admin reminders for this here. You can set new admin reminders if you wanted to, or you can pick a series of existing ones. Drip marketing campaigns, so this will just automatically send out emails, and you can create your own drip marketing campaigns as well. Once you have some created, you could select from the drop down list here, so you'll see that there's a few like birthdays, invite members to add a photo, lead nurture, membership conversions, anything like that. Here you'll also see scheduled date for when these things are sent out. And again, these are things where it's important to have that email address for the record if you want to go this route. It'll also show invoices for the last 3 years and any cross-reference records. So now we'll go back to the member database. And again, if you click on the info icon here, you'll see all the information that we put in there, as well as if you go through this engagement report, it'll give different listings here, and at the bottom it'll total up however many points they've earned out of however many are possible. And at the bottom here it shows this percent engaged bar. Usually you want to try to keep people at least between the 25 and 50% for members. Your admins, you're going to want them to be a little bit higher. And it's always nice to keep an eye on your members for this in general, because if someone is more active, you may want to consider giving them some more responsibilities, because it means that they're more invested than your average person. So this has been a little bit more of a detailed walkthrough for the member database. I hope that you found this video helpful, and we look forward to working with you and hearing from you. Thanks. Have a great day.